Hello, people. Good evening, people. I know it's late, but I'm gonna go. Let me zero this in just a little tighter. Just a little tighter. Yeah, let's go. Let's go a little tighter. Let's get this frame a little tighter. Let me. Yeah, let's do this here. Come on. There we go. There we go. Good. No, too high. Too high. Too high. Down. All right. Good deal. Man, was that not an iron bowl? I don't know what to say, Pete. But the Gravedigger buries Auburn. And I'm going to tell you what all that means here in just a second. Two times on the. What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house one more again. I had to come with a video on the Iron Bowl, man, especially when it came and it went like this. Just when you thought you'd have seen it all, we saw what we saw in 2013 with the kick six. We saw what we seen in 2019 with the two pick sixes by Mac Jones. We saw what we saw a couple of years ago with Bryce Young hitting Ja'Cory Brooks in the right corner of the end zone to win that one and to go into was it quadruple overtime and win that one on our way to going to the national championship game, which we lost or whatever. But then we get to today's game, man. Oh, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. But it's the 88th Iron Bowl. Alabama leads that series 50-37-1. And that number 50 was, man, it was hard to come by, man. Golly. I'm going to tell you something, man. Being an Alabama fan ain't good on your heart, man. It really not, because the championship in 2017 was kind of just like that. You was high, and you was low, and you was high, and you was low, and you back high again. It just keeps doing that to you, man. And I just don't know what to say, man. But anyway, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit, man. It ain't gonna be long, man. But I had to go back and rewatch the thing because I was watching it as it was going on, and I really wasn't gonna go on because I was like, man, Bama went out there and wet the bed and messed in the bed and didn't do what they were supposed to do, knowing the things that were in front of them, right? And I was like, yeah, they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get that done, and it just looked very bleak. But it didn't start out that way. All right, started out, it got the opening kick, and we gave Auburn the opening kick, and they didn't do nothing with it. Ran 3 plays, quarterback ran across the line of scrimmage and tried to throw it, and they made a long procession about the thing, looking in the what I call the viewmaster. And I'm like, what are they looking at? The dude 2-3 yards over the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is like the 18-yard line. Dude threw the ball past the 20. He was way past the line of scrimmage. I'm like, what are they looking at? I mean, you needed the slide rule to figure that out. But they looking and they say, is there some way we can make this not a no, dude. It's a illegal forward pass. You get 5 yards from the point where he threw it from, which I don't understand that at all, because and we end up getting 2 of them too. We'll talk about that in a second. But to me, it hurts the defense if you just say you was just running and you was 8 yards past the line of scrimmage and threw it. So you go back to where you threw it and go back 5 yards. So it's a 3-yard gain. So I'm like, it should be from the line of scrimmage. Go back 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then loss it down. But I mean, I don't make the rules. I'm just saying. But anyway, they kick it off. They punted, and they punted to us, and we get the ball and on the first drive, and um, we go 75 yards. Um, Goodness, I can't see, man. Yeah, they go 8 plays and looks like 58 yards. And of course, Williams uh, runs it in, touchdown, 7-0 Bama with like 10 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first quarter. And I'm thinking it's getting ready to be a free fall. It's getting ready to be a free fall. I'm like, and then here's where all the stuff started. Punted it, and we kicked it off to Auburn. Guy takes it out in the end zone, which he shouldn't have done. Just kneel the thing. You get the ball on the 25. Just kneel on the thing. Get it to 25. But no, he can't do that. So he runs out of the end zone, and my man Kendrick Law coming down on kick coverage, right? And so he gets blocked in the back, and in the process of getting blocked in the back, and he's kind of like, because the ball carrier's running, so he reaches back, and then he kind of did grab the guy's face mask, from the top side, like that. I get it. Yeah, he did. I mean, nobody's knocking that, right? But anywho, so they talking to the announcers, and this is the first time I ever watched a game where, I really have had some battles with people who watch the games, with Alabama fans and stuff like that who watch the games, and they always have had problems with Gary Danielson, Brad Nessler, and before Vern Lundquist. They were always trying to say they anti-Alabama. I'm like, and I used to go back and forth with them. I'm like, dude, they not anti-Alabama. They're just not Bama fans. They're supposed to call it down the middle. Today was the first day I agreed with them folks. Because after that face mask, I promise you, they talked about that missed face mask for a whole freaking quarter. Like, guys don't miss calls. Yeah, they missed that call. And it didn't. Look, Auburn started the ball from the 8-yard line because they had a block in the back. But the block in the back is what caused the face mask, because the guy was out of control of his body. When he got hit in the back, he didn't know it was coming. He got hit in the back. Well, he running at full speed. So he reaching for the guy, and he hits his face mask. And I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that thing caused that thing, Well, here's the thing. And it was like, oh man, I don't know how you can miss. That might be the worst face mask missed call I've ever seen. And I'm sitting there like, dude, stop with the dramatics. Yeah, it's a missed face mask, but it ain't the end of the world. It's freaking 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's just 7-0. What are you doing? It ain't the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go and you down 7 and you missed that, and it would have been offsetting anyway because they blocked the dude Kendrick Law in the back. So all it would have been was getting an opportunity to re-kick. And you might have started the ball at the 15 or whatever. What the difference would it have made? You went 3 plays and punted anyway. What difference would it have made? I'm not saying it's got, but I'm just saying they was bemoaning that. Like, man, that's like, he should have been drawn and quartered for. I'm like, dude, he missed the call. Fine. And then they let out the bag. Well, any chance they'll get a chance to get that one back because they know they missed that one. I'm like, sure enough, Alabama gets the ball back after that punt. And they drive down. I mean, Jalen Milroe's doing his thing. He was running it. He was throwing it. Nice runs, nice pass. Jerome Burton's is catching the ball and doing all kind of stuff, man. And we had like a 50-yard drive going, and we got down into the 40-yard, a 40-yard drive. We got down to the 40-yard line, 4th down and 1. They brought Kendrick Law in, the same dude that got blocked in the back. So he figures a lot in this game. Kendrick Law does, right? Number 19. So he comes in, and they had just mentioned that he's like our, Swiss Army knife player, in the NFL, think Deebo Samuels, a big kind of like physical type guy that can run with the football and catch it and that kind of thing, receiver / running back kind of thing, So they snap it and they hand it to him on like an inside run coming out around the left corner, cuts up in between the tackle and the, where the wide receivers are. and goes down the sideline, well, down the side of the field, 40 yards and touchdown. But, oh, here comes the yellow, here comes the laundry. And apparently CJ Dupree, the tight end, had held. And they were like, it was going to end out of time. They was going to get that back because they was waiting. And I'm saying, only y'all talking about that. That's like 10 plays ago. Why y'all still talking about a daggum face mask that it was incidental like 10 minutes ago? They didn't run like 8 plays on this drive. And you still talking about that freaking face mask. I mean, what are we doing here? And to show you that they full of crap when they do that, I'm going to tell you. So they called him for that. And they went back and looked at the play. Well, yeah, you see, it really wasn't. He kind of turned him, but anything close, they was gonna. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, because you knew had they let that go, there had to be 14-0, and it would have been an avalanche because they would have turned the whole game around, right? You knew that's what was going to happen. So they couldn't let that happen. So let us insert ourselves in the game right here and see what we can do to keep this game competitive. And it did, because the holding call, it was like 4th and like 1. So that now, and it's and that made it like 4th down and 11 or no, yeah, 11. And so we just had to punt, right? So he punted, and of course, what does Auburn do? They go right down. And I can't think what the running back's name is. I'll tell you in a minute. But he ran that thing. I mean, all of a sudden now we can't, because that particular turn back changed the whole momentum of the game. The reason I'm talking about that play is because the way that dude held, what you call holding, is really something that happens on every play that gets run. The guy kind of has him around the shoulder pads. That's kind of the way that works. Because the guys on defense got the offensive guys, because you're trying to move a dude against his will. So you kind of got your shoulder, and y'all kind of touching them back and forth. That's kind of where that go. I watched a ton of football. What happened, the CJ Dupree did, happens on every play. It's just when they choose to call that. Because it's an impact call. I can impact the game if I call this right now. And they did. Because that kept 7 points off the board for us. And it gave them the ball back and gave them momentum, and then they was able to move and get the football and run the football, because maybe they're not trying to run the football like that if they're down 14-0 in the first quarter. I'm just saying. Sometimes it changes the mindset of how you call plays, right? But I've seen that. It's really the only way you're supposed to call something like that is if that dude lunges to go make a tackle and you still got him and pull him back. That's how you're supposed to call that. But because they were just jostling back and forth, and the guy just went through there. And they had to call that, and it changed it. And, of course, Auburn gets that, and they get the ball back, and they end up running it down the field. They end up going they went like 68 yards on 5 plays, all runs, too, for the most part, all runs. Just ran it down our throat. There's 7-7. And, of course, now we get the ball and we go back down the field, and we go like 12 plays and 56 yards, and we kick a field goal. We could have had a touchdown, but Jalen was rolling out to the right, and I think it was like 3rd down and like 5 or whatever, at like the 8, and he took off running, and he, again, went across the line of scrimmage and threw it. I want to say it was Knobloch, number 84. He threw it to him in the end zone, but he was obviously across the line of scrimmage. But what was kind of, here's the thing, I don't have no problem with Milroe. Basically, everybody in the Alabama fan club need to all write them an apology letter to Jalen Milroe, because they would say he's the worst quarterback ever in the history of the University of Alabama. But you never count a person out. But a person can always grow, can always get better, can always improve themselves, depending on what kind of mindset they've got. And that young man has really applied himself and became a good, credible, quality quarterback in the SEC. His numbers speak to that, right? But you got to kind of know where you're at on the field. I don't give quarterbacks a whole lot of leeway on that, because he was having problems early in the season with not understanding pocket awareness and where the protection might be breaking down, and you got to kind of know, you got a clock in your head, 2001, okay, I better start taking off the run. And I thought a lot of times early in the season, he was taking off the run late when there was nowhere to run and he would get sacked. You got to have that internal clock. That's part of being a quarterback. And it's nothing that you just kind of got to feel that. And same thing with understanding what a line of scrimmage is. You kind of got to know where that's at. All right. And he threw it across. What's surprising is he could have ran for the first down because he was right there. He'd have lowered his shoulder. He could have bowled right into it for the first down. But he decided to throw it. And if he just kept it, it'd have been a 1st and goal, and they probably get a touchdown on that. But they didn't get it. They called it illegal forward pass again, and we had to settle for a field goal, right? And then Auburn again gets the ball. They go right down the field, and they get a touchdown. Okay, they go 3 plays and like 88 yards. I mean, they just run it down our throats, and then and they just get a touchdown. This the next day, and you know it's 14-10. And so, and then of course Alabama gets the ball back, and I'm like, man, we got to score before half, and we don't want to go down at the half. It's 14-10 Auburn, and I'm like, we done really dominated this game, but that play turned the whole momentum around. Now they're in the game, and so, but we end up going 3 plays, 81 yards ourselves, with a 68-yard pass to my man Jermaine Burton. Okay, and of course they kept saying this is the thing that got me about Gary Danielson. I'm like, dude, I'm starting to see a side of him I didn't like, man, and I hadn't seen that in all them years I've been watching him. Right? He was like, what happened there? Did he go out of bounds? I'm sitting there like, Gary, that dude ain't went nowhere near out of bounds. He went down the field. I guess they did blow the coverage. Man, I don't understand how they blew that coverage. I'm sitting there like, dude, blown coverage. Because we had one in the 3rd quarter, just like that, with my man Javarius Johnson, number 6. My man, I want to say it was Malachi Moore, comes up out of the safety position before the snap and then don't do nothing. The guy runs down and nobody runs with him and he gets a touchdown and busted coverage. But they didn't talk about it like they talked about the busted coverage that the Auburn did to let Jermaine Burton get that 68-yard touchdown in the 2nd quarter. It's like something that shouldn't have happened. How does that possibly happen? Did it go out of bounds? I'm like, Gary, that dude didn't go nowhere near out of bounds. He's got a touchdown. It's touchdown Alabama, and it's 17-10, 17-14. That's what it was at halftime. And then, of course, now we get the second half kickoff, and we drive down, and we get it should have been a touchdown, but we had to settle for a field goal on that, and it ended up being, because up until that point, we had scored on like 17, I think, straight quarters or something, a touchdown in 17 straight quarters, which is like a current NCAA record, right? And we settled for a field goal on that particular drive. I'm trying to remember what happened on that drive. I'm gonna see, but it was something significant that happened while we didn't get a touchdown. I know we had 3rd and 3 from the 19, and Rodell Rims won for 11. Then it was 1st and goal from the 8, and then Milroe run for 1 yard. And then the second play, I know the second play. It was a funky looking play where Milroe, it was like a quarterback draw, but it didn't look like it went right. It looked like nobody knew what they were supposed to do on that, and they end up like losing a yard. I remember that now. Then 3rd and goal, he threw incomplete, and then they had to kick a field goal. Will Riker kicked the field goal and made it 20-14. And then I think it was like maybe 6 minutes and some change. Then Auburn gets the ball and they go down. They score a touchdown. They go 5 plays. They go 75 yards. And I want to say that was the touchdown that Javarius. Demarion Johnson went, like 30-something yards and nobody was over there. It was a busted coverage, but they didn't bemoan it like like the one that Burton got, and that ended up putting them up uh, 21 to um, yeah, 21-17. Okay. 21-20. I'm sorry, 21-20. And pretty much that was like the 6 minutes and 50 something second mark of the third quarter. And from that point until 32 seconds left in the game, Auburn led the entire second half. Because a number of things happened in the second half, man. A couple of things, and they had a stat, and I'm a video gonna shut down in here in a minute, but they had a stat that showed in the last 11 Iron Bowls, Alabama they're 6-0 at Tuscaloosa at Bryant Denny, and the margin is like 160 points. Okay, 6-0 over that same period of time. Uh, 6-0, excuse me, yeah, 6-0, and they were 2-3. I mean, 3-2 at Jordan Hare. And the mark of what they do, they add up the scores and the scores against. And in the games at Alabama at Bryant Denny, it was plus 160 for Alabama. And they added up the scores in Jordan Hare, and it was like -3. So it tells you we blow them out in Alabama, but somehow there's stuff that goes on that makes the games closer at Auburn. And I think some of that's to do Auburn plays harder because they're playing us or whatever. And I think sometimes, man, there's some outside stuff that happens, man. Like I said, that holding call that had to get, like I said, they said, well, that's one call leads another. No, one holding call, one face match call, all that would have done would have you would have started if they had not called the pushing it back, you would just got the ball at the 22-yard line, 23-yard line. Big deal. That holding call that they called that was really nothing significant took a touchdown off the board. Those are not the same things. All right. So in the third quarter, we drive down, right? And after they scored the touchdown, we drive down and we go into the red zone. Okay, and it's getting towards the end of the third quarter, right? And it's like third down and 20. I think we might have gotten I don't know if it was a sack, a 10-yard sack, I think. And it was like third and 20. And Jalen takes off. And, he's looking and looking and looking. He just takes off. And he's barreling down the left sideline. And the guy comes up and hits him right at the first down marker, but just a little short, right? Here comes the laundry. And I'm like, oh, they're going to get that dude for targeting. Because when you slow it down, I watched this play about 10 times. I did all that before I came on. That's why I'm on late, because I'm examining the game, right? And I think the guy's name is oh God, I can't read my own writing. Cannot read my own writing. I'll see it here in a minute though. But he hit Jalen on the side of the helmet with his helmet. And I thought for sure that's what they was gonna call, right? I was pretty sure that's what they was gonna call. Yeah, Nehemiah Pritchett. That's his name, Nehemiah Pritchett. He is number, I don't know what number he is. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. He is number 11, maybe? Number 1. Okay. And he hits him in the side of the helmet with his helmet, right? And I'm like, they're not gonna even look at that for targeting, because when Jalen got up, he was a little woozy. He was kind of like, and he kind of like put his head down, like, ooh, like that should have been called, but they ain't look at that, right? And so and then what they called my man Kendrick Law on what they call a crackback block. Oh, you got to be able to see him. You got to be able to see him when you're blocking him. I'm like, yeah, but you saw that, but didn't see that this dude got hit in the head, because we're supposed to be trying to make it safer for the players. But really, you're not. And then they didn't call it, but they called that. And see, that blindside block is a personal foul, right? That's a personal foul. All right, so instead of that being like almost a first down, They well, actually, it was a first down. That's a different play. That was the earlier play in the fourth quarter. That was a first down, right? And what they did was they took them 15 yards back, and then they tried another play across the middle. It didn't work, and so they ended up trying to settle for a field goal. It was like a 45 yarder, and Will Rocker missed that thing so smooth. I mean, when Will Rocker came there, man, he was so automatic. He was so different from all the previous Alabama kickers who always missed big kicks. Because they said in the Nick Saban era, up until we got Will Riker, Alabama has missed more kicks than any team in Division One. Now, take it for what it's worth, but that's facts or a stubborn thing. We missed more kicks than anybody in Division One, right? And Will Riker come, and all of a sudden he automatic, he kicking everything, he making everything, right? And then he missed that one. And you know he missed that one in Tennessee last year. That was like a 52-yard. It was like, man, it was like, and there's some other ones he missed. He's missed a lot. He's missed some kicks. So it's almost like we back to where we were. You know, he missed that kick. And that was a kick that could have made him the all-time leading scorer in the NCAA too, of over 530 points. With some quarterback in Navy or something way back, you know. And he misses it, and of course now Auburn gets the ball, and they drive down, and they get a field goal, and that's 24-20, and pretty much stayed that way. Now, but on that drive that they end up getting that field goal, I'm gonna tell you what they did to Alabama. Okay, it was a 4th down and 2, right? And they could have kicked. They ended up kicking the field goal anyway, right? But they could have kicked it here, but they decided to go for it. All right. And so they lined up, and they taking a long time. And then finally, there's a guy in motion, and the 2 tight ends on the left side moving at the snap of the football. And Alabama guys come across because they moved. And then everybody's like, and then of course Danielson and Nestle are like, oh, well, I guess that's offside. And I'm like, dude, that's 2 dudes moving. You can't have 2 dudes moving at the snap of the football. Hell, even I know that. I know that. You know, but they never said nothing. Well, and then they said Nick's over there having a baby on the sideline, like, you know, and he's like, I guess you're saying they got 2 dudes. No, dude, there were 3 dudes moving at the snap of the football, 3 of them. But they only called Alabama for being offsides. Okay, if anything, it would have been offsetting because they illegal motion and offside. You got to call one of them, right? And they only move because the guys were set because the guy's moving. They can't move while he's moving. And then when they snapped the ball, they were still moving. That's wrong all the way around. And then, of course, now they said, well, after this play, we'll get Genius Territory on here, and we'll get to the bottom of this. And they never got back to it. They never gave an explanation. They never said nothing about it. It was just forgotten about. Now I wonder why they talked so long about that missed face mask in the first quarter, but they just easily forgot about that play that they got wrong. They just forgot that. Just went on about their business. Oh, that's just a speed bump on the way to this. Hopefully they hoping an Auburn win. But they went down. They got inside the 5-yard line, and they tried it on 3rd down, and they tried a pedestrian play that I thought. And I'm like, I'm happy they called it because they got stuffed and they kicked the field goal. They made 24-20. And then the other shenanigans started. Then we get the ball, and it's 3rd down and like 7 or whatever. And Milroe hits Jermaine Burton on the sideline. Beautiful catch. Got his foot down within like an inch of the sideline. But one referee who was right there said, catch. Guy 20 feet away says no. When they blew it up, you could see there's green on the other side of his shoe before you get to white. It's obviously is in. The guy's looking in the Viewmaster. And you can see he takes a deep breath after he comes out. He comes out and he says, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. I'm sitting there like, we know good and well that was a catch. Okay. And so we end up having to punt. Okay. And of course, they get a couple of first downs. And of course, they have to punt again. And then we get the ball. And it's like 4 minutes or so left to go. And I'm like, okay, we got to do this now. And we can't get nothing going. Incomplete passes. We can't get no running game going. We can't get nothing going. So we have to punt. About 3 minutes and some change left. We punt. And I'll be daggum if they don't muff the punt. Number 30 recovers. I'm thinking, go, Gus. All right, but you can't advance a muff. So it's right there. So we end up getting the ball at about like the 30, 35 yard line, something like that. So we running plays, right? And so the play that I was talking about, it was a third down and long too, a second and long, and that's when Milroe's running down the sideline. He's running a lot. He had like 107 yards rushing. Ran down the sideline, got smashed, right? This time with the shoulder. Same dude. Same dude, number one. But this time he got hurt. Because he was like, oh. Because Milroe a big dude. He's not no little fella, you know. And so that made it a 4th down and 1. And we ran a nice little play with, I think it was Rodale Williams. I want to say, it might have been Jace McClellan. They ran a little nice play, held the ball for a long time at the line of scrimmage. And they just pitched it. Dude had a nice kick out block. He got about like 4 yards on that in his first down. And they ran another play, then all disaster blew. Okay. Jalen's looking over the lineup, looking over back and forth over the coverage. And the dude snaps the football. It goes by him, and it skits all the way back to the 26-yard line. You at the 7. You at 1st and goal at the 7. And it goes all the way back like the 26-yard line. I was telling him, just pick it up and just throw it. Just throw it out of bounds. Pick it up and just throw it. But when he went down to pick it up, his feet slipped off from under him. So, in college, once your knees down, you down. So it didn't go. So I'm sitting there like, man, you got to be kidding me, man. We at the freaking 25-yard line. And then when he had a third down play and he's trying to throw it and he runs across the line of scrimmage, and I think he comes back behind the line of scrimmage or straddles the line of scrimmage and throws it, and they call it again for illegal forward pass. But see, I thought that if you ran, you could run back behind it, and I got to check that out, though. But they called it, and so they added 5 more yards from the throw. And so you at the 31. So you end up getting a third down and at goal from the 31. And he throws. He got like 4 or 5 seconds, 6 seconds to throw on a 3-man rush. And there's nobody open. He throws it. It's incomplete. So it's 4th down. After a couple of timeouts, it's 4th down. And they call timeout because they want to see what kind of lineman. We got 2 dudes on that side, 2 dudes on this side. They call timeout and they come back. This time they only have 2 guys rushing. Now, there's a guy I used to work with that was, sending stuff via Facebook was talking about that thing's so scripted, which, I mean, it did look like a Hollywood script. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it was saying, man, why would you even have man coverage on a play like that? I'm like, you can say man coverage all you want to. They got 10 guys in the daggum end zone, okay? 10 dudes. There were 10 dudes in the end zone. So, man coverage or whatever, you got 10 dudes and 4 dudes going out to pass to catch. So, I don't know. But 10 should be able to cover 4. But I'm just saying. So he goes back to pass and it's 43 seconds left to go in the game. 42 seconds left to go. Because we took a timeout to keep from having a 10-second runoff. Because when you have a penalty like that, you kind of got to have a 10-second runoff. We need all them seconds, right? So we take a timeout. So he's back to throw. Got 2 men rushing. He's back there. He's looking over, looking to the right, looking to the left. And finally he fires it. Left corner of the end zone. Jeremiah Bond, the feminine defender of hand fighting, goes up, comes down with it. In the NFL, that would have been a touchdown. Caught it with his right foot and his left foot on his side, slides across the out of bounds line, inbounds. And I'm sitting there like, oh, are they going to call push off? Because it was slightly a push off. But they was pushing each other because they were jostling, right? He comes down with that thing, and that referee does this right here. Man, it was total bedlam at my house, man. Because I didn't even want to watch it, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Your boy didn't even want to watch. I'm sitting there like, man, they done went down to Auburn and crapped in the bed, fooled around, and now they done messed up their chance. I was mad because they didn't make good work out of Auburn because it's like, y'all got to like move ahead of people. There's people like Texas that's in front of you that beat Texas Tech 57-7. And you up there stumbling around with Auburn who couldn't beat New Mexico State. Come on, man. And so defensively couldn't do nothing. They running the ball. I think they ran for like 244 yards on us. They had 2 dudes with 80 yards, and the quarterback had like 67 yards rushing. So but when he did that right there, still 32 seconds left, and I'm like, okay. All right, so we still got 32 seconds. They kick it off. Auburn gets the ball at the 15. It's almost a fight. and it was and I like it where the announcer says Bond, Isaiah Bond. And of course, now he does this thing like this here, because that's James Bond, dude. That's for y'all time, though. Y'all know about James Bond, Sean Connery, and Roger Moore, and them dudes. And there's a new name, Wales, that did it before Sean Connery, but that's before my time. That was in the '60s. That's before my time. But anywho, so they kick it off, they get the ball to 15, then they get sacked, the ball gets knocked out of his hand, rolls in the end zone. One of the offensive linemen picks it up, tries to run it out. He gets tackled, it comes out to the 1 yard line. Then on the next play, he throws it. I think that should have been a pick six. But I guess he ran out of bounds because it ended up being 33 to 24. But they end up taking it off or whatever. But Alabama wins. They survive. They advance. They move to the the SEC championship game on next week against the Georgia Bulldogs, who was lucky to get out of Atlanta with a win over Georgia Tech. So apparently all the favorite teams that's in the national championship hunt had struggles, right? Bama was struggling with Auburn. Washington was struggling with Washington State. Okay. Now Oregon didn't struggle. They beat the pants off of Oregon State last night. I think it was like 31-7 or something like that. Florida State struggled with Florida. And like I said, Georgia struggled with Georgia Tech. I think it was like 31-23. And really, had Georgia Tech stopped them on 3rd and like 4, they could have had a chance to tie that game up. But they let that dude run through like 5 guys, and they couldn't tackle him. I'm like, okay. But yeah, so we are 11-1, and I want to say this, and I want to say this now about this Alabama team. And I know I hadn't done a lot of content on Alabama this year because I kind of been not been down on the team. It's just I'm just trying to understand what they're doing. They end up getting an offensive coordinator that I didn't care for. I saw Tommy Rees at Notre Dame. I really wasn't a fan of his offense. I mean, he's not. He's not Joe Brady or what's my man's name at Texas? I can't remember his name right now. I got so much going on in my mind. I can't think of his name, but he's not an exotic play caller like those guys, right? And I didn't see none of that when he's in Notre Dame. I'm like, we getting that dude? That offense is real vanilla, man. Why are we getting that dude? And then I thought, for the most part, that they didn't use Jalen Milroe in the manner that they should have used. I mean, you had this dude all summer, right? You knew, because I know they brought in Ty Simpson and this other guy in, and that was with him at Notre Dame, and he wasn't that great either. The guy that they got at Notre Dame now is pretty decent. He's a veteran quarterback. He stayed, but this guy came with him, and he's not good. They both played at South Florida, and they both aren't good, so they went back to Milroe. But you knew this guy had a skill set where he's very mobile. He's very elusive. Okay, his throwing needs some work. He's a work in progress with that, right? He's got he's not a sophisticated thrower of the football. Can't really read the defense and all this is sophisticated stuff. He's got to grow into that. So while he's learning that, let's put some zone read concepts in there, so we can he don't have to be dropping straight back and trying to read defenses, read coverages. It's not where he's at right now. And it wasn't until like game 5, I think it was the Tennessee game, where they started running him on zone read plays, and it's sort of like it opened up the rest of the offense. And I'm like, why weren't you doing that before now? It's easy. It's so much easier now to get play concepts now than it used to be. You can just go on the web and get whatever series of plays you want, and then work on them. It ain't like before. You had to go to somebody's, guy and go into his warehouse and go to his file cabinet and come. No, everything's digital now. You can get access to anything you want now. And when I was watching the Kentucky game, they said, "Man, he's running plays now that wasn't even in the playbook 3 weeks ago." And I'm saying that's on you for not understanding your talent, because today's talent is about working the offense and the team around the players you have, not fitting a square peg into a round hole. And I think now that he has learned how to the zone read, when them defensive ends crash, he's outside and he's 20 yards down the field, right? And it's working. Now you can't defend him, because if you they say, okay, we're gonna put a spy on him. Okay, you can do that, but that takes one extra dude out of the pass coverage, because he's marrying him. So he just makes the defense. Anytime you got a quarterback that's fast that can run, it just makes playing defense so much harder. And I'm just proud of how much progress Jalen Milroe has made, as he's coming down the season. Let me give you some of his stats, man. Let's show you. I mean, because he looked like. I mean, I saw a lot of the hate mail. I don't want to say hate mail, but the text from the chat rooms and stuff they were getting. Man, get this guy out of here. This guy is terrible. He's the worst quarterback ever. This guy's thrown. I don't know if yeah, because he got two touchdowns today. I think. Yeah, one touchdown. But I think he's got like 2,400 yards passing. He's got 20, 21, 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He also ran for like 700 yards. Okay, if you need him. Okay. Today, he was 16 to 24, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Okay. Yeah, he threw the one to Jermaine Burton, and he threw the one to Isaiah Bond in the corner. The other one was a running touchdown that I think Rodale Williams, I think, got. So, but and then hats off. I'm not going to say hats off to Tommy Reese for figuring out halfway through the season what you should have known earlier in the season. But I mean, I guess better late than never. We are in the SEC championship game, and I mean that's a blessing to be able to do that. And it's just another credit to the brilliance of Nick Saban. Let me tell you what I found out about this here. And incidentally, they talked to Nick Saban after the game. They said, "Yeah, we work on that play, whatever that play they ran it, because now, infamously, third down, fourth down, and 31 is going to be akin to second and 26. Back in 2018, Tua to Devontae Smith to win the national championship against Georgia. So now, fourth and 31 at Jordan Hare with the right to go to the SEC championship game and to win 4 straight against Auburn. We get a fourth down and 31, or Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond. Incidentally, Isaiah Bond talked after the game. That play is called the Gravedigger. That's what that play is called. It's called the Gravedigger. So that's why in my caption it says Gravedigger buries Auburn. And that's what he did. He buried him. Dig a nice grave and patted that dirt down real nice and smooth with them in it. And I'm happy for that. This is hats off to all those guys. Jermaine Burton, I think 6 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. No, excuse me, 4 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown, with long being a 68. Isaiah Bond, 5 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Had a 31-yard catch, which that was the game winner. And Malik Benson had a nice 33-yard catch. But here's the thing, and as we close, I want to say this, and I want to play this for y'all before we leave this thing. I'm going to play this. All right. So this might be the best coaching job that Nick Saban has done. I know he's coached a lot of teams. He's put a lot of players in the. I think he's put over 100 and some odd players in the NFL. Currently, they got 57 players at the start of the NFL season. There were current roster holders that came from the University of Alabama. That's tops in the NFL. But this team, and me and a friend was talking. I said, I don't really know any of these players. It's sort of like a collection of just guys, right? I mean, starting with Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, the running backs, Jace McClellan, Rodale Williams, Jam Miller. These are guys that, and then receivers, Jermaine Burton, Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law. That's not Devontae Smith, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. That's not them dudes. That's not Henry Ruggs or Jalen Waddle. Them dudes all NFL. A lot of these dudes might not even be on an NFL roster, right? but they have bought in and they're playing, and they may not be the most talented, but they're 11-1. Like a lot of them, way more talented teams were never 11-1. They're 11-1. On defense, you got guys like Dallas Turner. Now he's kind of a holdover. He was here last year, year before with Will Anderson. But you got some other guys. Caleb Downs, I think he's a leading tackler on the team. Deontay Lawson. Of course, Kool-Aid. We know about Kool-Aid McKinstry and Malachi Moore. Them guys. They're guys, but they're not like household names or nothing. And the guys on the offensive line, Latham and them guys, that's not Leatherwood or what's my man's name that just went to the Giants. He's not good at it for the Giants, but I mean these aren't like maybe not NFL first round picks. Might not even make an NFL roster, but they're playing for the Tide, and somehow Nick has galvanized them guys, and they're playing good football, and they was able to go into Jordan-Hare today and win the Iron Bowl, and ain't nothing like it, man. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. All right, tell you what your boy Uncle Fred gonna do. Now I'm gonna talk about because I'm happy about the and I know people's talking about the missed calls. Yeah, there's always some missed calls when we go to Jordan-Hare. That's why the games are always close, because they're officiated, so they'll be close. But that's okay. Adapt and overcome. Bryce had to do that 2 years ago and win it in double overtime, and we had to do that this year. And the thing that just gets me, man, is I'm watching the fans. I mean, they're just downtrodden. That I'm like, why y'all so bad? Y'all act like your dog just died. I mean, I know y'all lost the game, but dang, y'all was 6-6. Or 6-5. I mean, it ain't like y'all, we knocked y'all out of the national championship run. Y'all gonna go to some fifth rated bowl and be whatever. Now, had we lost, yeah, we're gonna be, because we looking at, man, we got a chance to do some special things. Now I know we gotta beat Georgia, and that ain't no easy task. They ain't lost since we beat them back in 21. About this time 2 years ago, right? And that's a tall task. But if we had lost that game, that would have been a heartbreaker, because it'd been like the SEC championship game with just us going through the motion. It wouldn't have been nothing special. It's just, we're just playing, But now we know if we beat Georgia, and some things bounce our way, we could be playing for something, So, that's the thing, man. In Alabama, we try to play for big stakes, man. And, and if because I'm trying to remember the last time y'all lost, less than 4 games in a season. Maybe 2017, but that's 6 years ago. Okay. The last time y'all lost, when they lost less than 4 games in a season. So, when we lose more than one, we like, dang. Yes, that's why last year I was like, yeah, I ain't really trying to talk. We done lost 2 games. We out the running, but we in that thing this year. We gonna do what we need to do, right? But game ball, Isaiah Bond, and of course Jalen Milroe. Okay, and I can't remember the dude that recovered that fumble, but he number 30. He gets over game ball too. So we're gonna enjoy this one for right now, because hey, that's a big win, and that one is going into the archives, my friend. That one is going into the archives, right? And I'm gonna enjoy that one before I start, because I don't want to be a downer, because I know we got to play Georgia. Georgia ain't lost in 29 games since we beat them 41-17 back in December of 21. They ain't lost a game since then. And nobody's expecting. I think we're installed as a 5-point underdog. And I'm not saying we're gonna go down there and beat them. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know Nick gonna have them boys ready. I know they're gonna be ready. All right. And like I was saying about Auburn, man, y'all was up there crying. Was y'all crying last week when y'all lost on homecoming to New Mexico State? I don't know if that was homecoming, and I probably shouldn't have said that. But y'all lost to New Mexico State. They lost today. They didn't lose today, but they barely hung on against Jacksonville State. Okay, that's one of our in-state schools, in-state like second-tier schools, right? That's a team that comes to your building because I think they gave New Mexico State $8 million and promptly got beat 31-10. And then you're gonna be crying because you lost to Alabama. Come on, man. Really? Are you serious? You serious? You despondent because you lost to Alabama, but you lost to New Mexico State last week in a game you had to pay them. Come on, people. Y'all got to be better than that. That's why Auburn fans, I be chuckling at them, man. I just do because it's like, I guess if I was a team that didn't win hardly any, I guess I would take whatever I could get and make more out of stuff than it really is, like y'all do. But anyway, it's on to the national. I keep saying on to the national because that's what we do with Alabama. We play for the Natties. And them things, we know what they really be called. They the Nick Saban and the Alabama Invitationals. That's what we play for. Right? But before I sign off, and I'm going to sign off with a Roll Tide, but I want y'all to hear this before we go. Woo! Yeah, Alabama got that win. Iron Bowl in the 88th annual Iron Bowl. Got our 50th win in that thing. And we trying to get some more. We ain't done. We trying to get some more. We trying to get some more. But that's all I got, people, from the desk of Uncle Fred. Roll Tide. I'm gonna sleep good tonight and go to church tomorrow. It's gonna be a good day. Shoot. I might even wear some Alabama stuff to church, man. It's a come as you are Sunday. I might just do that. I might just wear some Alabama stuff. Got some Auburn fans that go do it too. I'm gonna rub it in their face, but it's okay. It's all the humility. It's all the humility. But anyway, that's all we got. Like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Roll Tide, people, and good night.